saw it first on Sunrise. The breaking news of the day, the eddy is a no-go. We sent our guy Hoggy up in preparation of what we were hoping would be a great day of surf. Guy, what did we learn today?
Well, we talked to the contest organizer, Clyde Aikau, and he gave us the sad news. But we kind of knew it going in this morning that conditions were not going to be right to run the contest. We're talking about bad winds coming out of the northwest, and then slowly getting better towards the end of the day. But by then, they would have run out of time to run the contest. So that's why he made the sad decision to pull the plug, because earlier, yesterday, they actually put a green light on it. So now they're going to postpone it, and they're hoping for the next swell, which is slated for January 22nd, and to run the contest then. And that swell actually looks even bigger, and the winds look favorable, not like the one that's coming in by tonight.
Yeah, Guy, as I mentioned, you broke this news with Clyde earlier today on Sunrise. I did want to play a portion of that interview out for our viewers now.
You know, it's been a very difficult few weeks monitoring this swell that has been created halfway around the world, and it's been traveling across the entire Pacific Ocean for over a week now. So due to the wind conditions that are going to be prevalent in the early morning, and due to the size of the swell in the early morning, we are going to cancel the eddy for Wednesday tomorrow. So we are officially canceling that, and we're looking for the 22nd, which is projected to be even a bigger swell with a lot more better winds. I'd like to thank Hawaii for all of their support, and hopefully we'll have an eddy on the 22nd.
Yeah, and you mobilized everything. You were ready for this thing because it's a big swell that we haven't seen a swell this big in a while. Even though Waimea had a couple of days, Jaws had a couple of days, this was going to be the one. So it's quite disappointing that this one did not line up.
Absolutely, and we've been working with half a dozen forecasters and Surfline, and it's been still a very difficult call. But again, I'd like to thank everyone, and the eddy is officially canceled for Wednesday.
Yeah, Guy, I did want to go into a little bit more detail about those conditions, and there is hope for another round of big surf coming in, right?
Yeah, you're right. In fact, the conditions are good today. Even though they're too small to run the eddy, the backdoor shootout, the Hui's backdoor shootout is going on up the beach at Pipeline. So if these winds were to stick around for that swell, which they won't, we would have some good conditions. But because the swell will arrive the same time northerly winds and northwesterly winds come in, the conditions are likely to be stormy, unrideable, but still life-threatening and very dangerous.
Yeah, and then there's another swell behind that for later in the month, right?
Right, we're talking January 22nd. Now, that's still a long ways away, so a lot could change in that time. But all things being equal, if that forecast comes to life, we're talking about a very big swell, just as big, if not bigger, than the one we're expecting tonight. And this time, the swell will coincide with better light trade winds. So that swell is looking to be pretty good. But again, Jonathan, I got to stress that that's a ways down the road. Things could change. So you got to stay on top of the situation. Keep yourself posted.
Let's keep it on top of this situation we were talking about with this latest swell, the one coming in tonight. What are the impacts?
Yeah.
What are the first alerts you need to give our viewers outside of the eddy?
Okay, first and foremost, the ocean probably through tomorrow, probably through Thursday, will be a very dangerous, life-threatening place. And staying well away from the breaking waves, from where the sand is wet or the ground is wet, is actually probably a good idea. There will also be some implications with regard to traffic. Surf this big will likely rush up onto the roads, wash up onto the roads. There'll be debris coming up over the roads, places like Ka'ava, out towards Makaha, and parts of the North Shore too. So traffic could have some impacts. Also, we could get more coastal erosion for those houses really in danger of falling into the sea. We're talking up towards Sunset Point and those areas. They will likely face more coastal erosion because the waves are going to be that big. And some of it could even result in coastal flooding. So those are the things you got to watch out for. But the main thing, the first alert is stay out of the ocean, at least for the next 2 days.
All right, Guy, while we got you here, you are our resident surf expert here at H&N. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the history of the Eddy. You've been up there a number of times. What's it like? What's the feeling? And just tell me about that. Describe it to us.
Well, first and foremost, the contest itself honors a great legendary Hawaiian hero, right? Clyde Aikau, the first lifeguard here at Waimea Bay, saved countless lives that he never even reported. He just was doing it. That's what he lived for. Then he dedicated his life to the Hokulea and sadly died when that boat capsized trying to rescue them. So all the big wave surfers, the big wave community, the North Shore here uses this contest to honor Eddie first and foremost, surfing notwithstanding, right? So they do that to honor Eddie. So whenever it does happen, it's such a celebration of everything that Eddie was about, as well as the sport of big wave surfing. So they were really looking forward to it because it hasn't run since 2016. And I got to tell you, I was here for the contest of 2016. It was probably the best Clyde Aikau contest ever run. And they've had some spectacular ones. But with John Florence winning it and with the waves being just really, really spectacular, 2016 would be hard to beat.
And Guy, you're saying the surf is pretty good out there right now. Are you seeing any of those professional surfers out there in the water right now already today?
Not at Waimea because it's too small for Waimea Bay, even though we got some really nice conditions. So because we have a swell that's good size on the way down with great conditions, I think the backdoor shootout is going on right now, the Hui's backdoor shootout. And that's high performance waves in a crazy, awesome wave backdoor and pipeline. So that's probably going on. But again, the big waves are coming in tonight, going to peak tomorrow, but they'll be mostly unrideable for much of the day.
All right. Guy Hoggy with his awesome insight and some breaking news for us today on Sunrise. Really appreciate it, Guy.
Sure thing, Jonathan, anytime.